Oh, I didn't even see you there. Hey guys, how you doing? It's always sunny at Archbishop Carroll, as we all know, on 211 Matsonford Road. I don't know what county it is. We always get confused by that. But welcome back to our next installment of the Ode to the Class of 2020. So here we are. It is a beautiful, I'm not going to tell you what day it is because we're recording this, but we are going to go back to start off at 3A. So welcome back to those who are joining, and thanks for sticking in and tuning in for it with us. So let us start. Mr. Zam is our fearless leader of 3A, so hope he's doing well with his family and this quarantine time. And first up, to start this off, this incredible 3A class is Robert Flood. And I'll just say about Robert, just St. Annie's, we go way back to that. And again, just certainly just down to earth, easygoing, like a chill guy, just really chill, laid back, and easy to talk to. And again, I think what I think of, especially just, we've been through a lot this year, and admire your strength and just perseverance through everything. And again, I just pray you keep it going. I know you have a lot of great friends, and I know our last installment, we remembered Luke from 2A, so certainly he's still with you and with all of us, and continue to make him proud by the way you live your life through him. So just proud of, going through that tough time, and just continue to stick together and stick to your faith and keep it going.
And so we have the Shante Fontaine, who I have in my second period class. And I was always very appreciative of LaShante because she was always not only respectful, but always, attentive, and especially when the class, I would never say it would never get out of hand. It was always a great class, but times that it would get maybe a little rambunctious. Is that a good word, rambunctious?
Yeah, we've had those moments.
She was always very consistent, never too high, never too low. I was always jealous of her too, because she always had, because it would be second period, like around that time, you'd always get maybe slightly hungry or thirsty. You're getting closer, third and fourth period when you maybe want to head down to lunch. She always had apple juice and an elite snack, or as the kids call them, elite beverages or elite bevs.
Bevs.
So now I sound really cool. But it was kind of a mark of her because she would have it almost every day, and it was consistent. And normally, I don't let, I try not to let people eat in class, but never somebody that made it a big deal of it, so I always just let it slide because it was always a consistent thing. It was never trying to get attention. So it was a joy to have you in class, LaShante. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and I hope you come back and visit us one day. So LaShante Fontaine, congratulations on graduating, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah. Next up, we have Imani Frederick, and Imani, I know, has been physically around school, but I know been working hard from home and coming into school as well, catching up on our work for senior year and junior year. I know had some health issues, and you've really been strong and continue to bounce back. And I just give you give you much praise, and sure, going through those tough times. Could have gave up. You could have just whatever, but you've really bounced back and been strong, and just didn't let it define you. You keep coming to school. You keep doing your work, and I think it just shows what kind of person you are, what kind of character you have, and what kind of faith that you have. That you've hung in there through some tough battles. So continue to work and battle strong, and we're praying for you for your health and to continue to get back to full strength. But I know even without that, you never use that as an excuse. And I respect that, and we're proud of you, and our prayers for you, Imani. All right, next up, we got Cecilia Fehr, but nobody knows her as that. We can call her Seal, C-E-L, C-I-L. I don't know how you spell it, but I say this is, again, another great family. I've had her sister Emily years ago, and again, just a really smart, very intelligent young woman, and and just putting up with me at Faith in Action, and always got her working on time, always diligent, amazing handwriting. Checking notebooks. There never was ever a problem, never an error. It looked like perfection. I know you're also being the boys tennis coach. I know you're a very good girls tennis player as well, and I know you worked hard with that. But again, I just really just impressed by your work ethic in school, and again, I know you come from a great family and just really smart, and I just continue to pray you keep that going in college and beyond. I think you got some there's a lot, you have a lot great things ahead of you, and you have great gifts that God gave you, so certainly keep it going, don't waste them.
Okay. Next we have Lindsay Fuchs, who was in my 5th period class, and she was in the group in the side of the room with the Pisano's of the world, the Nardas, the Dominic Burks, the Anthony Cavellos. As I said, 5th period.
A real quiet crowd.
The absolute quiet crowd. But Lindsay actually would be the one who would probably be the one who's even keel out of all of them, and that's good because she's probably also, I would guess, an adopted daughter of the Capone household, because I don't think I've ever seen Lindsay and Julia Capone ever apart. And she's probably the one guiding all of them around. But I know she was a cheerleader. That's kind of the first time I got to know any students I didn't have. It was usually through sports, whether I coach them or see them out on the field. So we're appreciative again of anybody who ever supports the football team, and especially that goes for all of the cheerleaders. You were always greatly appreciated. But somebody who was much more than just a cheerleader, somebody that was very, very intelligent, very studious, very engaged in all of our classes, especially, if it had to come to taking notes or, making sure work was, done. She was always on top of all of that. I know you're really looking forward to heading to college. I just wish you all the best, and thank you for being, a very good student. Thank you for everything that you've contributed to Carroll Athletics as well.
Next up, we got Jessica Gallo, and again, when I think of Jessica, and there's a lot of people, even though I didn't have the privilege of teaching, that's what I really miss about being our time away at this quarantine nonsense. I remember walking around, whether it's room 200 and just bothering people there and trying to find out what's going on, or cafeteria work, or in the cafeteria walking around, or in the library. And again, you're one of those people that I just certainly would just at least talk to me, wouldn't ignore me. So I appreciate your always, again, very friendly, very nice, easy going, easy to talk to. And I just think that that's the kind of person you are, kind of person, the personality that you have. And again, I think that's important to have. So even though we didn't have I didn't have the privilege of having you, and I know you're a good student, and you're a kind soul. I just always appreciate, and that's what I miss about this time of quarantine. I don't get to see you guys as much. Everyone's at home, and I'm praying that you're all doing okay at home. And but again, Jess, I think you're going to do good things as well, whatever your future endeavors are. So keep it up, Jess. Thank you.
Next up, we have Joseph Gallo, a very, very shy kid.
Yeah, keeps to himself.
Yeah, I don't even know what his, I couldn't even remember his voice. Doesn't really talk to anybody. Just kind of keeps his head down.
He's a loner.
Yeah, very loner. Obviously being very sarcastic, and anybody who knows Joe Gallo knows that maybe the most outgoing person I've ever met, but in a very, very good way. He's somebody that's not afraid to talk to you, but I also get the feeling that, you were never annoyed by anything he said, because he was actually very, smart as well. When he would say, when he would have to talk, he was just, he really wanted to know things. He would ask questions. It was never in kind of a smart aleck type of way. He just really wanted to know. He was one of the first when we would, once we got the work completed and we would talk about maybe different cooking ideas, he was always engaged and always had ideas and things of that nature. And it was kind of cool to see, that side of him. Tremendous person, somebody that I think the school is really going to miss. So you're going to notice that, when Joey Gallo is no longer, in your school anymore. I know you were a great role model to, your younger brother, while I was in the school. So I appreciate, that's always a big responsibility that siblings don't realize. When you have a younger sibling in the school, that they look up to you. I know that because I went through school having siblings, in the same school with me as well. So we thank you, for all your leadership. I wish you all the best in future endeavors. I know you're a very proud Italian, so I always appreciated that. So keep that proud Italian heritage going. Always be proud to be Italian. Always be proud to have the name Joseph, whose feast day was just yesterday. And I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, Mr. Joseph Gallo.
And the hallways will be a lot quieter.
All right, next up, we have Stephen Gambon. Now, it's interesting with Stephen. I knew who he was in my first year, but I didn't really get to know him that well until senior year. And, I knew he was on the football team, but I didn't know him that well, again, because I coach defensive line, and you would think, oh, well, if they play on the football team, you know them really well. And yes, we do know all the players, but we know the players that we coach with the most, and especially with defensive line, wide receivers, they never really mesh, except for when it comes to maybe a scrimmage, or if we do this one drill, which is called the pursuit drill. Now, for all those who are not, football savvy or don't know what that is, it's a very simple drill. Basically, you're teaching people how to tackle a runner who's ahead of them by taking the proper angles to get them. It's actually a lot of math involved. And what you basically have is one guy on the sideline, and he runs as fast as he can to the end zone, and all the defensive guys have to try to tag him before he gets to the end zone. And so you'd have your fastest guys kind of waiting over there, and they would take turns. And I can tell Steven this because he wouldn't really have a chance to see it, that when he would be lined up the outside, all the guys' heads would kind of drop, because not only is Steven fast, he never would take that drill lightly. He would run as fast as he possibly could, making the players have to run extra harder, but in the process, making them better football players. And it was one of those things that many of you never got to see. But he made our defense better each and every week because of that drill. And that's why the Carroll defense was one of the best defenses in the PCL, was because of people like Stephen Gambon working that hard. And that says everything about him. He's a hard worker. He worked very hard in school and always strived to do his best. And that's going to bode very well for you, Steve, as you go on, on the next journey. So I want to thank you not only as, a coach, but as a teacher, as a priest. Also, it was a pleasure to have you in the Kairos group. It's where, we got to really, meet each other and get to know, one another well. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and you'll be very successful. God bless.
All right, we got next up. We got Elizabeth Gall. We have a lot of Gall coming up on this. All right, well, I guess that didn't really work anyway. But Liz, I just again never had in class, but I remember going on Kairos and giving us a chance. I'm sorry about that. It's a great name, and
it's gone.
All right, I'm sorry. All right, we're gonna keep on filming. We're gonna keep on going. This is not scripted, as you can see. This is all just, we don't know what's gonna happen. So, but Liz, I know you can handle this. I know you hopefully you're laughing and just enjoying this. And again, I just think because Kyra, I got to know you through that, and probably talking to you, getting some kids to if you're gonna go to Kairos, and just and that's really how I got to know you and who you were on the retreat. And again, I'm just happy to get to know you through that, and that you gave it a chance, and that you will live the fourth and continue to follow through with it. And again, I just think another just really nice. He's just down to earth, a relatable person, and again, you do well in class, and I hope you're still doing well. On whether it's on a Zoom or something like that, that you're still keeping up with your work. And again, just continue to go strong to the end, and continue to persevere and do well, with your future. So. But Liz, thank you, and thank you for that last name as well. God bless you.
Next, we have up Jack Gilbert, one of our proud members of second period theology, and it was a pleasure to teach Jack this year. And the things I will remember most about him is kind of the air of professionalism that he has. Now, when you're dealing with high school students, as much as we think they're great, in high school there's always going to be that immaturity, or that kind of fooling around kind of class clown thing that some people want to do, and you deal with it, and it's all great, because it's high school. You want to have a good time or enjoy it as much as you can. And with Jack, though, it was always not that he wasn't enjoying high school, but he was always so respectful and professional. Coming to the class, sometimes kids may, if you're lucky, will maybe look up and acknowledge that you exist, which is fine. We all did that when we were in high school. Some may be, hey, Father, how are you? Some may say nothing. Jack was always, good morning, Father. Take a seat, and then always got to work. It was the type, and even though we never discussed ever a student's grade, I would never have to doubt that he would do an assignment or do a task. Like I would just always, it would be actually shocking if he would not do, his work or do something that's, not in place. So I thank you, Jack, for taking theology seriously as you did. I thank you for your, professional conduct and everything that, you contributed to Carroll over these 4 years. I know you'll be a great success whatever you do. So Jack, Gilbert, thank you and all the best. All right, I want to try to pronounce your name right, Evelyn. I believe it's Evelyn Galuski.
Yeah, something like that.
Just in the comment box eventually, just do like a pronunciation key that I got it right. But I always called her Evelyn. Somebody, again, we use the expression would never hurt a fly. I mean, I think she would literally, if she accidentally hurt a fly, would find a way to apologize to her. And that's not to make fun at all. It means that somebody that's just generally concerned about being kind and respectful. And we need more people like that in this world. A tremendous student, somebody who's a proud member of our 7th period theology class. Again, always took things very seriously, always polite, always professional. And I believe you were also in the lunch that I moderated, which I can't even remember.
We kept switching.
Yeah, it was like 6th and 4th lunch. Yeah, I remember you were in that lunch table, and again, always very respectful during that period as well. Whether it's in the classroom, cafeteria, in the halls, always respectful. So, to Evelyn, I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. God bless.
All right, next up we got John Goeringer, but known as Jack. No one calls him John. He's Jack, and does a lot. Very smart. I know, involved in Science National Honor Society, in my Faith in Action classes, and again, 3-sport athlete, because I think you do golf, swimming, and of course the best one, tennis. One of our singles stars in the last couple of years, and it's a shame we couldn't go for the PCL this year and take out LaSalle, because we can't. We know what we think about LaSalle. We're not offending anybody, but they just want to take you guys down. And I always remember a memory of Jack, we always joke with, is that he would always be the one that would take the longest in like playing a tennis match. Everybody would be done in 1 set, 2 sets. Tommy Tennis, whoever it was, Peter was done. And there was Jack going to like tiebreakers and 3rd set tiebreakers. So we were hoping to get back on the bus and back to school in an hour or two, but then Jack would be in the 3rd set tiebreaker and it'd probably be there 3-4 hours. And, sometimes you won, sometimes you lost, but no matter what, we always knew that you would give it your best shot and you worked hard on the court and off the court. And you should be commended for that. And just a lot of great memories and good times with tennis and also in class. So keep it up, Jack. And I think, you got your future is bright. So keep it up. Next time we got Jiao Gong, better known as Miranda. And one thing about Miranda that stands out to me is, again, person of service. I know she's in the National Honor Society and she wanted to do service hours, and usually you just check off the box and say, hey, I'm just going to do my 1 or a couple hours of service and I will stop. But Miranda really got involved in our CSC service at the Martha's Market in Norristown. And she was so dedicated with a few others that would go almost every single week to help the homeless and to feed those who are in who need our help, and just to stay around at 4 o'clock and we get back around 6:30. Just tells you what kind of person that you did. You didn't do it just because you had to get the service hours and just check off the box. You really fell in love with it and were dedicated to it. And that's my memory of you. I know you're involved in the best. You do the Best Buddies class as well. And again, you're just a person who loves to give. And we need people that it's when you give that you receive. I think I heard that somewhere. I think it's some saint that said that, but St. Francis is the person. But just that Miranda, just continue to have that giving heart, and prayers for you for whatever you're going to be going back to China or staying here for college. But really proud of all you've accomplished. Thank you, Miranda. Next up, we got Brendon Gould, and another just a great all-around person, working hard. I think you do art, you do science, you do a lot of things. I know you sing. You're in the choir. You do well in classes. You're in my class. Again, you're one of those people. You're always at school. You're always involved, helping out. Again, also Best Buddies as well. I remember we had the Christmas show at St. Catherine's in Wynwood, and helping out and doing the spotlight for the show. And so again, you're a person of great service, but also you do so many things for Carol, in whether it's honor societies or music, or you're just everywhere. I always run. I remember after school I'd always run into you. And again, just well done. Well done with all the time management, because I know you're in the AP classes and you're in a lot of stuff with that. So so kudos to you. You deserve the best, and continue to have that all around, to keep you managing the time well, and continue to just continue to give of yourself to the whatever next place you go to, as much as you did for Carol. And thank you for that. Didn't go unnoticed. All right, next up we got Isabella Gruby, better known as Bella Gruby, one of, again, another really just a shining person in our school, a leader. Was in our executive board this year for student council, and again, just great in class, and just always diligent, got her studies done, always never sent an assignment late, always probably got 100 in my class. And if you don't get 100 in my class, I don't know there's something wrong with you, because you just got to hand in your stuff and give your best. But also, I know you're dedicated to soccer. You worked hard on the field and off the field. I know you love to do that. And again, I give you a lot of credit for all the time you put in at Carol and balancing that time well. Again, I know you have a great family and a good faith. And yeah, I just look at it and I'm really proud of all of you accomplished. And I know you put your heart and soul in everything you did, whether it was for student council or on the soccer field or an honor society, whatever you were doing, you gave it your all. So thank you for doing that, and don't fall back into don't lose that. That's a great gift to have, and a great talent. So thanks, and keep it up. All right, next one, and then we'll go back to Coach Fowler, get a little break from me, is Gwen, which I probably destroyed your name there, and I apologize for that. And I would just say, again, I didn't have you in class, but Kairos is where I really connected, got to know you, and I know that you really loved it and were really passionate and enjoyed it, and spoke highly of it, and I'm really happy that you got a great experience, not only just with the retreat, but just the way getting to know new kids. That's part of one of the good things about the retreat. Your faith, people's relationship with God grows, but for other kids to get to know people that maybe they didn't really talk to or get to know, I know you were one of the main people that people really wanted to get to know and reach out to, and you're really just, I don't know if it was K100 or K101, but I know you were one of the main people that just everyone's like, man, I'm so happy you got to know her now. I wish I knew her, years before and all that stuff. And it's one of the powerful things of the retreat. So don't wait for a retreat to show that outgoing and joyful personality that you have. Do it sooner. And I hope sooner, especially as you make your next step, whatever that is. So keep it up, and I'm not going to mispronounce your name again, because I tried, but I know who you are. So God bless you.
Okay. Next, we have another quiet one, Sanaya Hall.
Very quiet.
Doesn't have any opinions, keeps to herself. Again, you would never notice her at all. Just somebody that kind of hides in the back, and just is very, very down, very, very low key and everything like that. Not one opinion. Doesn't have one opinion at all. Obviously, again, somebody that I really enjoyed having as a student. Somebody who fit in our 7th period class very, very well. And, the story that kind of sums up Sanaya, I think, a lot of people would probably understand, and it's in a good way, is I teach, seniors and second semesters all about marriage and vocations. And a big chunk of it's on marriage, and especially, part of the class curriculum is, when we're going through our notes and texts, is trying to find, your future spouse or things like that. So oftentimes, just to keep the class interesting, we'll marry a couple kids in the class. We'll, make sure that they're paying attention. So I think I had you wedded to Jamil Thomas. So I said, how do you feel about being the future, Mrs. Thomas? And you said that, well, that's the luckiest thing that's ever happened to him, so you should be asking him how lucky he feels. And I think that kind of sums up exactly who Sanaya Hall is. Somebody who is not going to be satisfied with just being good or being satisfied with just having the average. You're always going to seek, to get the most you can out of life, which is a good thing. Somebody who's very passionate, somebody who cares, which is always something that you look for, in a person. And I know you'll be extremely successful. We'll miss having you and 7th period. We'll miss your personality, but we'll just miss having you in the building most of all. So to Sanaya Hall, all the bless and God bless.
Someone's going to eventually get that phone, but
our secretary has been
the MIA, this quarantine thing. So hopefully the voicemail will catch that.
Maybe Trish Judas can
get that. Yeah,
thanks. She picked it up. There we go.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Trish. All right, next up we got Phillip Hatfield, and Phil, I remember just I never had you in class again, but in the cafeteria, just doing my rounds, and sit with a couple of your friends, and always like playing, gaming, doing a little game or something like that. Where playing games stuff like that, but always very respectful. Maybe a man of few words, but just would always say hello. Talk to you. Briefly get to the point, and but just a respect that and not saying it in a negative way, but just very kind, respectful young man, and I just appreciate those conversations that we had. Might have been not too many words said, but always very easy and respectful to come up to the table and to chat with. So Phil, I really hope that you do well in your future endeavors. And again, just you got a lot to offer the world, and I hope that you see that. I know we see that in you, and God does, but I hope that you see that in yourself. So I think you have a lot to offer. I think you're a good man and a good-hearted. So continue to find that in yourself and to share that with others. All right, next up we got Brian Houghton, and again, Brian, never had you class, and I just think about you within the cafeteria as well, and just carrying on and walking around and doing my and making my stops. And again, you're just another person that would just at least shoot the breeze a little bit and chat and say what's going on. And again, I don't know what you decided for your college or your future, but I just know that you will be successful in that. Again, I think a lot of the teachers that I talk to, I've heard your name in very positive ways. Even though I didn't have you, I just always heard great things about you and your work, and you're just studious and kind. And if I hear that from my colleagues, I believe them, and I had my moments with you in the cafeteria. But if the teachers are saying that about you, then that tells me a lot about you. So continue to strive and do well, and whatever you're going to do, I think you're going to do great things. So keep it up.
Next up, we have Kevin Herrick. Nobody probably knows who that is, because we all know him, of course, as CJ. CJ is one of the seniors I can honestly say I've gotten to know very well, because he was one of the first seniors that I ever met. As I said, I coached the defensive line, but the defensive line and offensive line practice together. They do a lot of the same drills. I'm sorry. And CJ was an offensive lineman, so I didn't have direct coaching with him, or at least I didn't coach him up to be an O lineman, but he would still have to do the D-line drills. And I remember, it was my first introduction, to the Carroll School, and it was my first year of coaching at Carroll. So as a coach, you need to make a first strong impression, let them know that, you're going to be the one that's going to be in charge and make them better. So I had little things to make sure they had to do. They had, for the first practice, they had to make sure, they probably didn't know why. It was one of those, crazy coaching techniques that we had, but I made them bring out this, what's that thing called where that holds a painting? Tripod or?
Easel.
Easel, there you go. Excellent. Look at it. Michelangelo over here. Michelangelo Spez.
Cowabunga. I'm more of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Michelangelo. Eating pizza.
That's right. God bless you.
Cowabunga.
That's right. So I had them bring that out just as a form of discipline, because if they didn't bring it out, then they had to take an extra lap or they had to do extra conditioning. And CJ was the one that always made sure that was out. He's a very conscientious person, but also a very, very smart student, somebody who's contributed a lot to not only athletics, but academics as well. The personification of a student athlete, somebody who cares about doing well in the classroom and somebody who cares well about doing well on the field. He got thrust into the starting guard position last year when we had an injury, and he never gave that position up. He went in and he earned that spot, and he never gave it up. And that says everything about, CJ, that he worked hard enough to keep it. He didn't take it, for granted. And, we thank you for all that you did this year, because trying to block linemen in the PCL is not an easy thing to do, but you never back down from any challenge, and we'll miss your sense of humor. I think most of all, somebody that always kept the practices light, which you really need that, because football seasons are very long, and we thank you for everything that you did, CJ. So all the best. I know you'll be a great success. Next we have up, probably if I was going to cast a movie and think of what would I call this baseball player, what his name would be, I think it would be Max Hitman. I don't think there's a better baseball name in the history of baseball than Max Hitman. I mean, it just sounds like he probably plays shortstop and is a great hitter, and that's exactly what Max is. It's what he's, I'm sure a lot of people know him as a baseball player. It's because he loves the sport very much, but he's also much more than that. He was a captain for us, and we were all looking forward to a season he was going to have. I can confidently say, and I'm sure many of our coaches may or may not agree with me, everybody has their own opinion, but I know I can only speak for myself that he's the best shortstop I've ever been around. As a player, as a coach, he's one of the best shortstops I've ever seen in person defensively. Somebody that just worked day after day to make sure that they played the position to the best of their ability, and then also a tremendous hitter. I still remember coming down Sunday morning and reading that great article in the Inquirer about how you were working with Dominic Brown, and I knew we were all looking forward to seeing how great of a hitter you were going to be this year. But the best news is that you're still going to be playing baseball in the future. You're going to be playing for St. Joe's, and I know we're all excited, and I know I'll be making a special trip up there, to watch you in your first couple of games. So to Max, again, sorry about the season, but thank you for everything that you did for the program and for the school. You will be missed. Thank you, Max. Next, we have Maggie Hors, somebody who, if you want a quick memory, kind of says everything about her personality. I came into my 7th period class, and 7th period is, for those of you that are in school and remember school, 7th period is like, now you're getting to the point where I just need to get out of the building. All right, I'm really kind of done with classes for the day, and you really got to kind of push through. In many ways, it's more challenging than 8th, because at least 8th, there's light at the end of the tunnel. So she would come in and she would write on the whiteboard, vibe check. I have no idea what vibe check means. I'm not cool. I'm not trendy. I never will be. But basically, she was somebody that tried to keep everybody's mood up in the group. She would, make sure everybody's doing okay, and kind of would take the temperature of the classroom and see kind of what was going on, make sure everybody, I think, was happy, always concerned about how everybody else was doing. So that's a great attribute to have, a great student, great contributor to our 7th period. You'll be missed along with everybody else in 7th period, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, Maggie. God bless. All right, and the last one for me, before you get a break and go back to Michelangelo Speziale, is Ryan Hoffman, another 7th period member. He was part of that group in the back left corner with Bridget DiCarlo, Emily Hurd, Julia Didio, right? Didio.
Sorry.
I keep thinking you switch up the name just to mess with me. That back of the group, great conscientious student, somebody that took, 7th period very seriously, or at least showed me that you took it seriously. Tremendous student, great soccer player. I know you gave a lot to the school in terms of soccer, and, we can't thank you enough for all of your contributions through that, and I wish you all the best in your next stop. Congratulations, Ryan. God bless.
All right, next up, winding down here. It's a big homeroom here, but we're almost getting there. Yizheng Yu, they're known as E. And one thing, I know I didn't have you in class, but I respect you a lot, is you came in junior year. And again, that's a tough time to come in, transferring halfway through high school. And I know working with Miss County, you did a good job. You did your best. I know you're trying to get involved in some things, but I guess you're going back and forth sometimes to see your family in China. And but I respect anybody who's a transfer who comes in halfway through to try to to learn get to know new people and a new culture, a new school. So I know that I saw that and I respect that. And again, whatever you do, continue to work hard like you did, as you transferred here. So Carol was happy to have you. God bless you.
Next we have Christy Hong. I know she's going back or leaving for China soon, but a tremendous student in our 2nd period class. I felt so bad because as you see with a lot of them, even with the previous student that I talked about, Ryan, I always got him confused with, I think it was Ryan Park. I just get everybody's names and their first names mixed up in particular. And I always got you mixed up with Karina. So I apologize for all the times that I called you Karina and you politely said, no, I'm Christy. You never got annoyed or felt disrespected. So thank you for your Christian charity with that. Tremendous student, hard worker. And thank you for, giving Carol a shot. We were very happy that you were part of our school. It was a pleasure to teach you, and I wish you all the best, as you go back or as you go on to your future endeavors. You were a great asset to the class, and you will be missed. Thank you very much, Christy. And lastly, for me, rounding out the group, Emily Hurd. Hopefully this doesn't embarrass you too much. I don't think it's bad at all. But again, going back to our class, our topic was marriage, and one of our big topics was, and I always ask questions and people, to make them think. And one of the questions was, does it matter if your future spouse has money? And a lot of people felt that I was asking that, or they should have said, no, it doesn't matter. They can be completely poor and do nothing or have no job. It's just all about love. And Emily, without a beat, goes, when I asked, does it matter? This was the only person who said this, honestly, out of all the periods, was, does it matter if the person has a job or, has made a good bit of money? And she went, yes, it does. And everybody kind of looked and said, oh, they think it's a gold digger or things like that. And then she explained, no, it does matter because why? We eventually explained that the purpose of marriage is eventually, having families and things like that. And, that's important to have that. But I always appreciated the honesty that, be willing to say, what the truth is. And I think that is always going to bode well for anybody, even though I know she, was a very conscientious person, somebody that was well liked. Again, her along with Julia and Bridget was another quadrant of that group that would keep the conversations going, always would participate and engage the class. And when senioritis kicks in, all the teachers can testify that, as long as you have some kind of, a pulse or somebody's willing to engage in anything, it's always appreciative. And you always were engaged with the class, and it's something that you always remember you for, a conscientious student, somebody who cared, but also somebody that was, very honest. So I thank you, Emily, for your attentiveness this year, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
All right, two more to round it out and wrap up 3A. Anasia Jones Dowling. And again, I think my memory of you, again, is Kairos. And that, really, again, I'm really proud of our program because we've really reached out to people, again, maybe that aren't Catholic or people that are, just maybe just want to get to know new people, want to grow in their faith. And I know you were one of them that gave Kairos a shot. I know some people were hounding you about going. You came. And again, you're one of those people. Everyone's like, man, just to get to know you and it meant a lot of new people. And again, I hope that's still going on after Kairos is over. And I just remember you had a great experience of that. And that's how I got to know you. And I certainly walk around cafeteria. I knew you from that as well. But I know you had a great Kairos experience. And again, I just hope that people get to know you, your personality, your again, just easygoing, and that you have an opportunity in college or whatever you decide to do for people to get to know you again sooner than later and stuff like that, and get involved in whatever you're going to do. So I think you're friendly and outgoing self. You're going to do great things in the future. So God bless you, and our prayers are with you. Last up, we got Stephen Kalin, and Steve's currently in my Faith in Action class, and I gotta say, just one of the people who very much gets involved in the discussion, very deep conversations. Sometimes we joke around and gets out of control and lose focus, but I know Steve can always get on point, really thinks seriously about a lot of the reflections we've had, whether about marriage or about vocations or the future. Certainly praying, his family is got a great family. I know you guys have been through some things, and I just again, great respect. I hope your faith carries you. I know it grew this year from Kairos and the class, but just how important faith is to carry you through life and your future. And if you hold on to that, God will never let us down and never abandon us. So Steve, I think you're going to do great things, and again, hold on to your faith. I think that's a great gift, and don't underestimate it. So Proud of you. And that's all we got for 3A. We pulled it off. A nice list of 28. But I hope that you hung in there and continue to tune in. And again, we miss you guys. We're proud of you. And God bless. We have a Mass to go tape in probably about 5 minutes. So watch Mass on Saturdays, 4:30 as well. All right. God bless you.
Godspeed.